Okay, welcome back at the closing lecture of this whole high growth entrepreneurship course. I have first started with the theory, basic theory, entrepreneurship theory, and then I have built a departure from there. Having said that, we need to understand that theoretical part also. And then we built the customer business, customer development model, strip blanks model. We understood that. And we got into lean startup thinking by Eric Rich. And then later we built everything together into a model called thinking model into using the whole concepts into business model canvas. And then after we built business model canvas, we got into the thinking like how to actually scale the company and then how to build the whole empire after that. While building all of these models, I built the last intellectual property right lecture into the funnel, like the whole funnel from customer discovery to customer validation to customer creation and company building. So this horizontal layer that I have been talking about is your intellectual property right, patent, algorithm, trademarks, you name it. These should be valuable, rare, inimitable, non-substitutable, and then also organized resources that nobody can copy and dislodge. With this, you are set for 20 years, you are set for 14 years, whichever patent or rights you can get. And we have gone through all the examples, what could be done, and then at the end, how do you want to exit? Do you want to continue in the company or you want to sell the company? That's your choice as an entrepreneur. Many of the serial entrepreneurs, they just exit at some valuation and then get back to the another company, build another company and a new business model and then again sell the company and get back to another level. Or they want to retire early. That's fine. These are the models and then ideas and then thinking and examples that we have discussed. But now at the closing note, I want to make sure that don't get me wrong. Yes, these are beautiful things. These are beautiful models, but entrepreneurship is not easy. Many countries, many regions are trying to emulate and copy Silicon Valley. But the question is, can you actually copy a culture? The culture of Silicon Valley is so unique. It was built over hundreds of years. We cannot copy. And copying is not ethical either. But we can learn from them and build our own Silicon Valley, which is not the copy, but it is having its own manifestation, our own adjustments, own contextual changes and adaptation that is needed for the particular culture, particular industry, particular society, for particular reason. US is mainly democratic society and it's mainly based on capitalistic thinking. If you really copy that idea into a communist country like China or some North Korea or socialist countries like in Scandinavia, just like that, just copy to copy, like apple to apple or orange to orange, it will backfire. Because the underlying assumptions, the underlying environment, the external environment, the society, the sociology of entrepreneurship is totally different. This many people don't get it and they actually try to copy whatever is done in the US and then they fail terribly in their own market. Perhaps with this note, I made it clear, like when we started the entrepreneurial transformation and journey in Finland, we did not copy Silicon Valley. We learned from Silicon Valley, like we use all of these models that I have actually presented to you. These are the gifts of the Silicon Valley. I have high regards for that. Having said that, we did not just try to emulate the Silicon Valley culture as it is, but we built a culture that is actually vibrant and also adapted to the society that we are in, social democracy based thinking, welfare state model, and then also state supporting entrepreneurship. Right, this was not in US, so now here you have advantage also in that angle. So you got sponsorship from the state for the entrepreneurial ideas and venturing and everything. So this was totally different ecosystem, different thinking, different ways of working. So one is totally on the right hand side of capitalistic thinking, like in US. And yes, China is doing something into capitalistic, communist thinking, but also the economic model is more capitalistic than communistic thinking, right? Like one party rule or no plural ideas, whatever it is there. It may be there, right? They can also build entrepreneurial ventures because the state is actually sponsoring here also the entrepreneurship, like state-owned enterprises are actually just getting off the ground. They have built their own ecosystem, own innovation ways, own ideas of copying or adjusting or whatever is there. But with the signing up to the emergence of the World Trade Organization and all multilateral agreements, also it seems like US is withdrawing in many of those, and even UK is doing that. But it will be maybe, in my view, very short-term thinking due to nationalism and populism that is on the rise. But on the long run, it will not last, and the whole globalization and internationalization will be staying, but in different form, maybe after COVID-19. But in building these kind of adjustments on your best leg variables like political, economic, legal, environmental, and global uh, situation, then you have to adjust all the variables that you can learn from Silicon Valley and then build your own ecosystem. In building that ecosystem, we need various models, like which kind of models might work in your particular society, I don't know. But in Finland, mostly students-driven entrepreneurial culture was built through the volunteerism. This is a country where social NGOs, INGOs flourish, and even state funds them for giving balance to the society. Like for example, if I recall, like for example, let's get to the very core of this idea. Like for example, if you give too much power to the enterprise, that is private sector, then private sector will control the whole politics also. That is what is happening mostly in US and many other countries, because now all the multinationals are actually funding the political parties, and then political parties leaders, all the leaders are actually making laws and regulations supporting them. So what happened actually, the capitalist actually hijacked the capitalism, right? So the power actually got too much towards the capitalistic society, or like the capitalist or the entrepreneurs. For entrepreneurship course, this is a very good thing to know that it happens. If that happens, that is good for you. But on the other hand, if you want to build a sustainable society, this is not right, because this is what is happening now throughout the world and around the world also, is that in most of the countries, private sector is actually capitalizing too much at the expense of social cost, and then also at the cost of environment, because they are polluting and they are destroying the fabric of life also, right? Balance is actually tilted, like the benefit is tilted towards private sector. I think if you look into communist models, normally, like in a democratic society, in free enterprise society, that is what is happening. But if you get into the other side of the equation and look into communist societies, one party rule, no plural thinking, right? Nothing there. In those societies, the power is so much with the public sector, right? So balance in the society is not there either. I'm not taking side of any of these, like neither communist side nor the capitalist side. I'm just trying to reason Neither of these systems are perfect in their extreme conditions. But in theoretical concepts, ideal concepts, they may be right on their own terms in particular society, that's fine. Because if the society is more group oriented, then communist thinking might work. If it is society individual oriented, then capitalistic thinking might work. So you have to see what kind of society you have built and where you are at that stage. You have to adapt the political system and ideology. That I understand, and I want that to be understood by you also. But on the other hand, in these both models, what has happened is that like Soviet Union collapsed because the power was too much with the state, that is public sector. And in US and UK and other these democratic societies, free enterprise and free economics and free market societies, these societies, in principle, capitalism is a very good concept. I don't have anything against it. But the way the capitalists have hijacked the whole capitalistic ideology and the benefits out of that is too alarming. Right? So that if you really want to bring society into balance, like can give hope for the society, then entrepreneurs need to build this kind of social responsibility and then also this environmental responsibility into their business. But in this equation also, the public sector will argue, or civil society, that is plural sector, I call, even like Minchberg called it. The plural sector is actually blaming or claiming that now if you give all this social responsibility and environmental responsibility to the enterprise, they even become powerful. Now already they have controlled the economic system and they have actually captured the whole judiciary and then also electoral system and then also political system. So they're too powerful, right? And we don't want to give power to them in the stakeholders. All the stakeholders they have also controlled by them. So the plural sector, that means NGOs, INGOs, and human rights organizations and civil societies, everybody is actually now arguing and trying to make a reason and make responsible organizations like Greenpeace and other movements, human rights movements, and everybody is trying to reason with private sector and then trying to control their too much control of the power. So if you really want to make a society sustainable and balanced society, then this private sector, public sector, that means government sector, and then your people, that means society in general, like individual consumer, that means, right? And then also the plural sector, that means NGOs, INGOs, human rights organizations, pressure groups, everybody. Everybody needs to have a balanced power, balanced kind of responsibility for the society. So if you really want to build that kind of society, as an entrepreneur, this is the right beginning. As an entrepreneur, we start to giving and rebalancing the society. You build a fortune out of it, you make millions and billions of dollars out of it, that's fine. But my quest and my call as a lecturer, as a teacher, as a giver of this lecture is that you rebalance the society. Give this earth, the face of earth, a new beginning, a new understanding, a new clarity. That might be very, very useful. And then we'll have a new generation where there is this kind of peace at the individual level. And then when individuals are at peace level, they're content, they're happy, and they are actually thinking and having empathy, and they're in harmony with the nature. They cannot do harm to others. When they cannot do harms to others, the greed part actually goes lower. Once Mahatma Gandhi said that Mother Earth, nature has given so much to everybody, enough to everybody, but not for the greed of the humanity. So we have to get out of this greed and this desire that is actually destroying the fabric of life. Let's first start to build the peace at individual level. And then when we are in peace at individual level, we do not harm the other side's dignity, the inequality, the racism, the other aspects of inequality, economic inequality. Nothing will manifest in that kind of balanced person's life. The balanced person's life, the individual who is in peace and harmony with the nature and the society and individuals, builds harmony around himself and with everybody. She starts from individual like you and me. Now, when we build a company, let's build a company where individuals are in harmony. Let's not be so greedy that we as entrepreneurs only want to have fortune. Let's give back to the society. Let's give back to the employees. Let's build this culture of understanding. And with that, when you have the prosperity, that prosperity is long lasting. It will not be destroyed by the riots and the streets. It will not be destroyed by anybody else. Like COVID-19 may not manifest either, unless and until it is done in a different angle of war or any other army thing. If it is natural, it will not, this kind of epidemics don't come. Climate change will not be a problem because we will not be polluting the environment, right? So we'll build a responsible society, a balanced society where everybody can thrive, everybody can think about it. And I miss a lot of time in the good old days with inside Nokia. It is a very beautiful company. I miss a lot, but it's still, I enjoyed the Finnish ecosystem. I became part and parcel of building this Finnish ecosystem where all of these four forces, all four P's that I have been talking about, people, planet, profit, and then pull sector. That means NGOs, INGOs, human rights organizations, pressure groups, everybody is active in that society. Even press is active in that society. Very, very free press. A neutral country, respected country, respected society, balancing Russia and US and everybody in a way that they can actually change the world order for the good of the society, for the good of the world. I become very, very happy and proud to be part of that society. And then whatever I have learned through the process of the balanced society or like 11 elements of balance that I have witnessed in my life, I'm giving this knowledge and wisdom throughout the world. So as a global citizen, this might be a reality for you also to act on this call and then build a society, build a venture, build a change, social change that is having high growth and then having impact. On that note, I would like to thank you for being with me with this journey. And I don't wait anymore to see your course forum and get questions and answers there and have a dialogue. Let's build the future that we want to see. Thank you very much for being with me. I enjoyed the most, and I hope you enjoyed the most also. Thank you for being with me. Thank you. Thank you very much.